can you tell us? Can you tell Pete? Can you tell myself? How do you become an Ecosattva? We want to know. What are the ingredients to becoming an Ecosattva? Now, we want to make a new story.
Well, I mean, I think it's pretty basic. We've already touched on that to a large degree. It's basically the Bodhisattva path in a particular direction, right? So on the one hand, I think it's really important that one have some kind of contemplative practice. And I'm not saying it has to be Buddhism, but the recognition that it's not going to be adequate to simply try to transform society without also transforming ourselves, because those two things are so interwoven. And, we have plenty of examples historically about how, revolutionaries overthrow, and what happens is one gang of thugs are replaced by another gang of thugs. So if you don't work on yourself as well, if you don't understand your own ego as a potential problem and the ways that the ego is going to want to exploit the new situation, then probably things are going to be just as bad or worse than they would before, right? So that's an essential part of it, right? The other part of it, of course, is the connection with the earth, and here there's two things that I would emphasize. I think almost all of us are starved by a sense of alienation or disconnection from the natural world, right? So we started this Eco-Dharma Center in the mountains above Boulder. And when we have retreats, we're spending basically all of our time outside. And people go off by themselves. They connect with the trees. They connect with the wildflowers. They connect with the stream. They connect with the meadows. We really need to feel that, and to feel the gratitude for that, because I think that grounding is absolutely necessary if we're going to deal with the kind of grief and the kinds of challenges that we face. And here I'm following on from Joana Macy, whose work has been, it really seems to me she's the most important teacher of our era. And what her work that Reconnects does, you emphasize gratitude for the natural world, which for me, it means you get out into the natural world, and it's not just some abstract thing, but you're there, and on being grounded in that gratitude then helps us really address and be able to cope with the very difficult kind of ecological situation that we're in. At its best, the practice helps us open up to our own rootedness or groundedness in the earth. There's a fascinating story in the Pali Canon that right after his awakening, the Buddha was challenged by Mara, right? This principle of this demon, as it were, who basically said, you think you're awakened. What? Maybe you're just kidding yourself. Who verifies, who authorizes your awakening? And the Buddha, very interestingly, he touched the earth. And he said, the earth is my witness. Wow. What does that really mean? I mean, there's a lot of ways to understand that, but one of the stories, such as, Thomas Berry talks about, is just the realization that, we're not a species that just happens to live on the earth, that we are one of the many ways that the earth is manifesting itself. And in particular, we seem to have this special attribute of a certain kind of self-conscious self-awareness. Can we be the way that the earth wakes up? In a way, we still have this fundamental duality or delusion that we're separate from the earth. What happens when we realize, no, we are the earth, that what we're doing is the earth is calling upon us, acting through us to defend itself, that we're part of the immune system of the earth, that we can become part of the immune system of the earth working for its healing. So to become an Ecosattva, I think, is ideally for those of us who have the opportunities to engage and immerse ourselves in the natural world and open up to that. It's to get in touch with what does the earth want us to do. I mean, to me, I think one way to understand it is these three steps. We have to look at ourselves. look at our own situation, my age, my health, my education, my skills, where am I, what are my networks, and so forth. That's the first thing. The second thing is my larger location. What are the issues here that I can address? And what are the potentials within the situation? But I think maybe the most fundamental one that is most empowering is maybe something, and it's not an ego decision. It's rather a kind of slow, reflective opening up. What is it that pulls at my heart? There are so many problems. There are so many issues, so many ways we can go. And, we can't do everything. We'll just spread ourselves so thin it won't have any impact whatsoever. It's really important that we focus ourselves. But where? Again, as I said, well, what do I have to offer? What's the situation? And even the most important thing, where does my heart? What tugs at me? I think that's what we need to, and again, our practice can help us be more sensitive, more aware of this sort of gentle flowering forth. Yeah.